These things, not things, that's a disrespectful way to address them. This species is magical. You can see how they can cloak themselves, and you catch them in the right light and they actually sparkle. You can see the female's face with at least one or two young resting against her chest. And then the male is a little bit harder to see, but there's his, right in the center of the screen is his head. I can see his nose and mouth, and his eyes are shaded. But it's about all I can make out of him is his right now is his head. I can't tell if they're like leaning back on the driveway. Looks like that might be how he's resting. He's kind of leaning back on his right elbow, and he's a couple feet away from the female. I'm recording this off my other phone, which has our house's surveillance cameras linked to the phone. That's why I have to do it this way. I'm recording from one phone to the other. But you can just make out his head. It looks like he's smiling. I've used the microphone on the camera mounted up on the house, and kind of made sounds and kind of talked to him a little bit, and he'll reply back with like kissing sounds sometimes, like, or little grunts. There's a lot of them up in the tree, that base of the tree there. There's quite a few up in the tree, all cloaked. Pretty much every branch has one resting against it. Looks like might be the head of one there. I think the head of this group usually sits up in this branch here. He stays up there. He's like in the highest position, and he'll sit there and survey everything from that place. Trying to see, is that his? I can't really tell if that's his arm. I think that's actually his arm. Got an actual decent view of one of his arms. And then there's some kind of entity. I'm not sure if this is a younger one, but it's usually up there with him also. And it looks like it's right here. You'll see its eyes, his or her. I imagine it's a younger one probably, but I'm not 100%. I think he's actually, his head, body is a young one because he's not very big. Looks like his leg's right there. That's the bottom of his feet, where my nail is. You have to be very observant to notice them, because if you didn't, you would just see leaves twisting and turning, and you think that's what it is. But you can tell how it's blurred out. It's clear against the tree trunk, crystal clear, and then all of a sudden you'll see a blurred area. So it's not the phone, it's them cloaking that area where they're at. So it just looks blurry on the camera. And behind that tree, across the street, there's these people are going by and they don't even know what's going on. But there's a lot more of them in the wood line. All these areas that you see blurred, whether it's back in there, over here, all along in here, that's where they're chilling out, standing, watching, sitting. Sometimes you'll see them up in the branches. I think there's a couple of them up there, way up there in that tree. Everywhere it's blurred though, because how else can you explain how you got perfectly clear leaves here, and then it's all blurry here, or over here it's blurry. You can make out the shape. They're very much more advanced than we are. They've got full use of being able to change their frequency, I guess. I've heard that it's through use of the pineal gland. I'm not sure if that's right, but they can go from being fully visible to just fully invisible anytime they want. And they have a beam of light that comes out at the center of their forehead. I've seen that at night. It's hard to see in the daytime. That might be one doing it there in the center. I'm not 100%. But if you see it moving, then that's probably what it is. But I think they use that beam of light to as some form of scanning, because they did it to my house one night. There was 3 beams of light hitting the house, one hitting the garage door, and 2 others hitting the side of the house. And you could just watch the beams going back and forth. And I traced them back to where they began. And one that was in the garage was over in the woods, and the other 2 that were hitting the side of the house were coming from that tree, right where the big dog is up in the top, the head honcho. I think he was one of the ones scanning the house. This is pretty friggin' amazing. I never thought I'd have, I don't know what the right word is. It's a whole family. I mean, there's a lot of them. I'm not talking a couple or 10. Easily 50 or more, all in this area. And people are none the wiser. Don't even know it. Alright, I'm turning off the video.